All right, today we're going to tackle a task that sounds way more complicated than it actually is, but it's a total lifesaver if you manage digital analytics. We're talking about how to move a Google Analytics 4 property from one account to another. So let me just ask you this straight up. Is your precious GA4 data kind of trapped? Maybe it's stuck in an old agency account or a personal Gmail you used ages ago, or just the wrong business account entirely? If you're nodding along right now, don't worry, you are definitely in the right place, and we are going to get that fixed. So here's our game plan. First, we'll get into the why you'd even want to do this. Then I'll walk you through a super simple 7-step process. We'll hit on the really critical decision you have to make about user permissions, look at what actually changes after the move, and what doesn't. And finally, we'll cover how to sidestep a few common roadblocks. Okay, before we jump into the how-to, it's really important to understand the why. Knowing your motivation for the move is pretty key to making sure you get it right on the first try. And look, a lot of us have been there. Maybe the property was set up in a huge rush under a personal account. Or maybe you're trying to consolidate all your different business units under one big main account. It could be you're taking back the keys from a marketing agency, or you might just really want to delete an old cluttered account, but you absolutely cannot lose that valuable property data. All of these are fantastic reasons to make this move. All right, now for the main event. And I have some good news for you. Despite how intimidating it might sound, this whole process is surprisingly easy. It really just comes down to a few clicks in the right places. But wait, before you click a single thing, stop. This right here is the single most important thing you need to know. You must have edit and manage users' permissions at the account level. If you don't have both, that Move Property button we're about to go looking for, it just won't even be there. So seriously, check your permissions first. Ready? Okay, the first 3 steps are just click, click, click. You're going to head to the admin section, find the property you want to move, and click on Property Settings. Then, up in the top right corner, just see that Move Property button. Give that a click, choose the destination account where your property should be, and just like that, you're already halfway done. The second half of this is just as simple. You'll make that choice about permissions. We'll dive deeper into that in just a second. Then you just check the Confirm Changes box and hit Start Move. Now, don't get alarmed when you see a warning about data sharing settings. All it's saying is that the property will just adopt the settings of its new home, which is exactly what we want. Then you wait a few minutes for Google to do its thing, and you can go check the new account to see your property sitting right where it belongs. Okay, so let's talk about step 4, permissions. This is really the one part of the process where you have to make a big decision, and you've got 2 very different paths you can take. This is the choice. On one hand, you can keep your existing permissions. This basically just copies and pastes all the current users right along with the property. On the other hand, you can replace them. This option wipes the slate totally clean. It erases all the old permissions and only gives access to the people who already have access to the destination account. So think of it this way. Replace is for a fresh start, and keep is for maintaining business as usual for your team. Okay, the move's done. High five. But what actually came along for the ride? It's really helpful to know what moves automatically and what might need a little bit of your attention afterwards. So here's the really great news. All your most valuable stuff, like all that historical data, it's safe. It comes right along with it. And, this is huge, your tracking code does not change. That means no updating your website. Your custom definitions, your audiences, and most of your linked accounts like Google Ads will also come along. The only things you really need to double-check afterwards are your user permissions and those data sharing settings, since they'll now be following the rules of the new account. Now, while this process is usually super smooth, sometimes a move can fail. So let's talk about the 3 most common reasons why, so you can check these things before you start and save yourself a headache. First up is a simple but really strict rule from Google that catches a lot of people by surprise. An account can only hold a maximum of 50 properties. That's it. If moving your property is going to push that destination account over the edge to number 51, the move will just fail. It's a hard limit, so make sure you check the destination account and maybe do a little spring cleaning if you need to. The other 2 big blockers have to do with specific kinds of links. If your property's data is part of a roll-up property, where data from multiple sources is combined, you have to unlink it first. The exact same thing goes for Google Ad Manager. If your property is linked to GAM, you've got to break that link before you try the move. Don't worry, you can always link it right back up again once the move is done. And that's pretty much it. You've done it. You successfully untangled your GA4 property and put it exactly where it's supposed to be. You've gone from feeling kind of stuck to being completely in control. So the final question isn't about the move anymore. It's about what you're going to do with this perfectly organized data. You've moved it. Now, what new story is it going to tell?